gotta get it out. I gotta pray. I gotta pray that I gotta get it out. I gotta pray that I gotta get it out. Pray that I gotta get it out.
Don't make. I don't want you making fun of people who sent you something. First thing you hear on it, that gift was trash. I don't know who told you to buy that. Oh man. What's up? What's up, everybody? I feel so unprepared, but this is as good as it's gonna be for the meantime, in between time. Welcome everybody to the Books and Beyond Mail Book Club, where we read books and do some other stuff. I am your host, Hero, and I'm always joined by my faithful compatriots in life and reading. We got Black, Rob, and JB. They don't have their name tags on, so I'll let them just introduce themselves. Starting with Black. Yeah, but I don't have it on screen. Okay. I'm not prepared.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
What's up? What's the word?
It's right. JB right here. All right, cool.
And then Black to JB's left, Rob below Black. So we're gonna be talking and reading The Way of the Superior Man. It's a book by Dave. What's his last name? David Deida,
right?
Deida. Deida. And we're going over the first part today. We'll build up the screens and everything about it, but it was definitely a great read so far. We got thoughts about it. Just initial for icebreaker. We're all men, and I think it's important that we all have give our own personal interpretation of what it means to be a man. in today's day and age and what it means for us. So just real quickly, starting with you, Black, just tell what does it being a man mean to you?
Oh, that's a deep ass question right there, man.
Yeah, you thought it was
Me.
you
I'm
thought I
gonna
was
laugh.
starting off slow? What you mean? Come on.
Coming with the hot shit right away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go last.
You want to go last? All right, who want to go first? I ain't gonna put nobody else on the spot.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
What, that you was going last?
No, whatever somebody else said.
Rob, you feeling up to it?
Yeah, Rob the man.
I think so. My real definition of a man, and this is my personal definition. You know, you brothers may agree or disagree, but I think it's someone who protects, provides, and makes game time decisions.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I can add on to that. I don't think I would change anything. You know, to that game time decision part of it. A lot of times, if y'all don't have direction, creating direction, finding the direction, leading the way in a sense.
Mm.
You didn't read the whole title either. Way of the Superior Man, the Spiritual Guide to Mastering the Challenges of Women, Work, and Sexual Desire.
And now you know
Gotta
why I
read the whole
didn't.
title.
I didn't read the whole thing because that's long as hell.
You gotta read the whole title.
Hey, put the book up again so we can see it.
But
What? Oh, this?
Yeah.
You mean this one?
That's
now
what I was talking about. The logo, the State
The
Farm.
State Farm?
State Farm logo.
You want to put that in a little close.
If y'all been in the Kroger's in Georgia, trust me, you know this man. All right, those are two great definitions.
What
Black.
T.I. say you see me in the streets, you don't know me? T.I. said.
I'd agree with it, but I would add fucking being secure with your decisions when it comes to when you want to lead and everything, and not second guessing yourself.
Mm.
Well, I agree with everything they said.
I think specifically for what I've come through, I think you guys have great definitions. And what I've quickly come to understanding is, sticking to do what you say you're going to do. A man is definitely somebody that has a vision, a focus, an unrifled, unwavering mindset that could be outside looking in seen as stubborn, condescending, or even like abrasive. But like those hard line decisions that have to be made day to day, and being able to not only make those tough decisions but accept the consequences. I think that really has defined in healthcare and as me as a person, my way of life, and my way of life that makes me a man. So those are great things. But I wanted to lead off with that because this book tries to give people the opportunity to define those things for themselves and try and figure out what those words mean to you as a person who's either raising a small young man to becoming a man, or as a woman who's doing this on her own. Take heed to some of those suggestions. Take heed and understanding to what those mean. And as we talk about this, understand that we all might agree on some aspects of it, but we all added something new to the definition. It's important that we understand those perspectives, and you'll have 4 great perspectives today. So first and foremost, this is a book who was suggested by Black. He's the driving force behind this. So I wanted to send a shout out to you just for keeping us on track, pushing us forward, and holding us accountable. I think one of the major topics in the book that they talked about was having a group of friends who will hold you accountable. Black, talk a little bit about accountability.
And also, I got the book from Nipsey.
Mm.
So he was having an interview a while back, while he was alive, R.I.P. Nip. While he was alive, he's having an interview, and they asked him, what is he reading right now? Then he was recommended this book by a woman. So I was like, I'm going to check that book out. This would be a perfect book to come back into it from.
Mm.
Accountability, though, is huge.
Yeah.
Like, being able to take charge of whatever you do, or whatever's your fault, or sometimes even when it's not your fault.
Mm.
Just because you're involved in it is partially your fault. I say everything that happens in your life is partially your fault. It's never not just something that just randomly happens. It's not your fault. You fall into the ocean off a cliff, it's because you walk to the edge. It ain't like
Oh yeah. What was the earthquake? What is
but you wasn't that.
You still was on the
You
edge.
still on the edge.
People like, yeah, I was just driving down the street and the car jumped the car. If you wasn't over there, it wouldn't happen. So everything across your fault. Accountability is major.
Yeah. And in this book, we talk a little bit about it. It doesn't really have a starting point. This is not a traditional story, but I will say this: the prelogue and the like, just the beginning part of it was kind of fascinating. The warnings they gave about that, like, this is the first time I think I've even mentioned like the prologue or like the introduction. First and foremost, the publisher sends out a warning. So Black, that was a red flag for me immediately. They was like, none of the stuff.
Like that he did that though, because he's not saying that it's definite and it's like it's for sure, like it was scientifically studied or nothing like that.
This one of those books where you gotta be one of those people that's willing to understand before you even start reading it. Otherwise, you ain't gonna take in nothing he gotta say.
And I love that you said that. Can I pose this question to you? What is the importance to you? You've been a father the longest in the group. Like
Black ass.
Oh wait, Black, you have seeing her all grown up and forget about that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he just turned 11.
Yeah, dang.
Black got 5 years on
5 years. That's wild. Okay, but still, it can still be saved in this way.
Yeah,
We're talking about something you need before you go into this book. Can you talk to us, JB? What do you think you need, or what do you have that made you feel okay? I can pick this book up, because the way he gave that warning, it was a direct shot to your ego, your personality, your structure. What do you feel you have that made you prepare to pick up this book?
Self-awareness. That's like one of the biggest things that I always say most people lack. And when I say lack self-awareness, a lot of it is like you understand where your faults and flaws are, or just understand that every person got room to improve. So once you kind of have a real understanding of that, and then the other one was like I read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. My favorite habit is be willing to understand instead of being understood. So being able to know, like, I don't know everything. Like, most of what I think is an opinion anyway, right? So if I can take in somebody else's opinion, and that's one of the things I pride myself on, is being able to I can take anybody's opinion. I don't got to like you. But I hear what you're talking about, and it might be something I can pick up from that.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
I would say most people close themselves off to stuff that's not in line with their opinions. So to me, that's partially a lack of self-awareness.
Yeah, Rob, want to throw anything on there?
I would just say, for me, just being open-minded. To JB's point, if you're closed-minded, you're gonna read the first part of the book, and you're like, I'm not even gonna read the rest of this book, because this is what it's gonna be, and it's not.
That's really good too, and that's a perfect segue into the top of the book. And I'll be the first one to admit, I said this offline. I'll say now, first paragraph, I was like, Black, what the hell you got us reading? Like, it's 2023. This ain't the way. He's not using proper pronouns. He's not using nothing.
I was kind of saying, I'm like, oh, this might be hard for people to read.
Nah, I was finna text the group like, hey, Black, I see what I get where you're trying to come from, but I don't think this is good content, but I kept going,
and it's a big part of it. Like, a big part of reading this book is, once again, he told you up front, you gotta be self-aware. You gotta be kind of comfortable with some internalized topics. But the first question I wanted to ask: is this man married? Because one of the books I read was about taking information and understanding who you take advice from matters. Who you listen to matters. Like, who you tend to find information on matters. and I started to Google it, but I wanted to check and just see, did anybody else have this thought? Like, what expertise besides just him being older or him having this life makes him qualified? Did anybody else come to that like conclusion just off top?
I kind of think he said that though. Now that you said it, I probably glazed over it, but I thought he said something about that at the beginning also.
He strikes me as a person that's been married multiple times.
Mm.
That's the feeling I get. Like just like you, but a lot of it probably come from personal experiences. Sometimes I just sit up and think about a lot of stuff that you say personally wouldn't be socially acceptable, right? It comes from somewhere. My thought is like, are most people thinking things that they're not saying, vice versa, right? And he just put it in a book. He put it in a book. He's saying it, right? And it ain't shock value. It's like these are things that people probably see or are aware of, and then what we do with it after the thought is what we do with it.
1976, he was engaged in he was engaged in research. That's crazy that they used the word engaged in research. I can't find any directly on about his wife or who he's married to, and I didn't look it up, but no, he was married in 1991, married in New York to a Maryland. Question, he can't be intense answer, visiting help. So as far as I'm concerned, he's been married since 1991 to a Maryland Diaz.
This whole time, I thought he was like super black. I ain't gonna lie.
No,
I
what?
knew he wasn't black.
What?
I kind of knew he wasn't black because struggle was not part of the book.
No,
I didn't read the back of the book.
Okay. Hey, and let's go into it because the reason
You
why
said what was not a part of the book?
Struggle wasn't part of this book. Like, I love that you said that. When he describes, when you're just, I'm mad Rob just spoiled it because I was definitely gonna ask you more about describing. But the reason why I asked, like, is this dude married? Is this guy because I think like it's important that you get advice and give advice, especially when we're talking about life. It's not always 100%, but people who know your struggle, people who understand where you're coming from, and people who attack them. There's a part in part 1 where he talks about it's not enough just to make money for yourself. You got to make money for your family, and then you have to figure out how to make money for your community. Now, if this is true, and the amount of people, if let's say a significant amount of people have this book in their shelves, some people aren't even following the first aspect of his book to the core because
every other culture community, they take care of their community.
That's
do. Why I'm like,
that's why I thought he was. I thought it was coming from a perspective of like, this is what we should be doing.
But it is what we should be doing.
It's what we should be doing, but it's not what is done. And I think that's fascinating. So let's talk about the duality of those two situations right there. He believes that, everybody in this group would say that we believe that we should, in some aspect, take care of our community. But
I gave up.
Go ahead.
What'd you say, bro?
No, I gave up.
If Black's keeping it 100, you do have a moral obligation to yourself. Then once you have the comfortability and the security to secure yourself as a man, you then feel confident enough to go out and trust that you can bring somebody else into this equation, and then you both can figure out how to balance it out. But most families, most people, especially within the Black community, that's sort of where they stop. They secure their family and immediate family. We ain't even talk about aunties and uncles. Just
they mostly secure themselves when they get up out of there. Ain't nobody really coming back for their family. Ain't nobody taking their whole family. That's rare as fuck.
How far do you go out though? Like immediate?
Define whole family.
Define whole family, right?
Your siblings, your mama, they just normally just take themselves. Like it's rare. Like you got the image, the public image of the superstars doing their mama, but normally ain't nobody. They mama still living poor.
I think our generation, specifically millennials, we do a
better job.
A better job of taking care of our elders.
We intend to.
we planned for it. We planned for it. We saw the outlook. Like I think a lot of us when we were in college or getting a vast majority of our trade related skills acquired, we looked back and said, "Oh, y'all not gonna make it to the end if I don't do something else." Like, and that's a cold reality. My mama's sitting in California and San Diego right now enjoying her retirement, and that's not because of her. That's because of her kids. So like that's a hard. It's not even a harsh reality. It's something we take pride in. Hey,
Yeah.
And Black,
my parents a couple years away, and my wife's mom too. I already got the plan laid out. So
Black just got back from Africa. My mom is getting ready to move over there. There's a big part of this world.
I know he's so geeked to get up back.
Oh my goodness, he can't. Oh my God, he talking like he about to. I think I want to renew my vows. I'm like, okay, relax, King T'Challa.
He got some structure to reignite.
He need to bring him back. So
I kind of wanted to go over there and do for a community instead of over here, honestly.
Okay, so what does that community look like for you? What's that community you're trying to build look like? Because to Black's point, I'm thinking about doing it back in Africa. Yeah. There's something about seeing lunch ladies, school crossing guards, principals, all that stuff. Everybody's Black, and it's just like, and in my mind, I'm saying, yeah, I know where it's going. I know who's using it. I know what's happening. But the reality is, you need to create.
Somewhat.
Sound like Georgia.
Hey, I'm tired of people talking to me about Georgia, man. I'm tired of people talking to me about Georgia.
George Wallace calls that Wakanda.
Yeah, that's what I call it too.
Shit, y'all building Cop City over there don't sound too Wakandish to me, but
that 1.6 bill they putting on the new.
They out there though. I like that they out there. The boys like that, bro. Those rebels or whatnot.
Yeah, I like that shit too. I like that. That is good. Rob, what does this community look like that you're trying to build?
I think, at least for me, it's people that want to help so they can truly help themselves.
Yeah.
I think if I would have asked Black why he gave up, my assumption would be that he wanted to give to people that didn't want to help themselves. They wanted him to enable them.
And I also wanted more people to be. I wanted inclusion of it, so it wasn't like I would work with anybody, but I put it out there since I've been home. So as soon as before I got out of service, I was talking about everybody coming together, just doing stuff. Now, if 10 of us just put up a little bit of money, even if it's not all of us putting up money, some of us just put in the work, we can buy property and work on it, and we're not looking for finances from it. We could have had 10, 15 buildings by now.
Yeah.
And everybody would have had their own property and income. We could have either separated like that or just did it as a corporation. We didn't need to
involve.
We didn't need to fucking worry about individual money. Get out of here, Camille.
Hey, Camille. Oh, she can't hear us.
What's up, Camille?
Okay.
Black blocking us. Okay, and to Black's point, once again, fast forward 10 years, we're at this point where, okay, we all got some spare change where we can invest in the community. Go ahead.
I'm ready. Raise my hand on that one. So I've thought about this, like legit thought about it. The problem is, and this is what I feel like the problem is you need to be able to take somebody away from what they already doing and be able to financially fund them so they can run it. Like somebody got to be able to be in charge, CEO, run it, right? Because we like, oh yeah, it sounds good, but like, who gonna actually implement and start taking the steps? It's kind of like our book club, right? Like we got the book club. Black gonna make sure we always got a book to read, right? Hero putting the thing together. Me and Rob, we gonna show up. You know what I'm saying? We gonna show up, and that's kind of like that kind of thing. The problem is that I feel like for my community, like you want the most money from me, you want me to run it, you want me to do this part, you want me to do that part. That's probably what Black feel too.
No, I wasn't worried about see, that's what I was saying. Like it don't matter. Like some of us will have more money to put into it,
right?
But I would rather other people would put in the work. Like I know electricians, I know plumbers, I know carpenters, and they all Black. We come together and we do it ourselves. We don't have to, buy, paperwork. It don't matter how long it takes because we funding it ourselves. So if we get a building, it'd be best to get that bitch up and running within a month. But if it takes 2-3 months, that's okay too.
Yeah.
But we ain't no rush because we're not looking for that income to come right away. I was prepared. I'm talking about 5-10 years down the line of not even worrying about that shit
Mm.
because you just worried about your own income that you work for. I work fucking hella hours a day, like
And the other
everybody
thing,
else.
the other thing I always said is like, we want everybody to come along, but some people just gonna get left behind, and it just is what it is.
You got to be okay with it too.
You
Gotta be okay.
with it.
Yes. That's
And
that's a
why I
that's
get
a
in the
hard one.
landscaping business.
That's a hard one. Because when you have to make tough decisions like who's going to be left behind or who's not worth fighting for to bring along, because you really, to Black's point, you choose you're responsible for some part of your decisions. It goes on. It can go on to be something that's really taken apart. Another aspect about this, is this a book that you would feel comfortable reading or having a partner read? How comfortable would you feel having your part, just with the first part? I think this is something I want to ask every week. With the first part, do you think your partner would be prepared to read this book? Do you think that they would handle it well? Rob?
I actually recommended it. I told my wife once I'm finished, and I'm almost finished. I told her once I'm finished, she should read it, and we can have like a date night where we go to like a coffee shop or something, or a date day, and we go to a coffee shop and we just talk about it.
Mm.
I was saying the same thing with the black man guide to understand the black woman.
Yeah. Mm.
It's not about the exaggeration. Just pay attention to like the smaller stuff. Cause
The smaller stuff.
The smaller stuff is all the same. It's all reality, and it's all today. Like I was looking at, like I'd be like, man, that's all today. This how the kids. That's how the moms talk to the kids when their daddy's in around. I've seen crazy shit at these schools.
That's fascinating. No, that's actually fascinating. Black, go. JB, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I was just gonna, with warning, be like, hey, you probably not gonna like this first part, but once you get past that, then we can talk about it. You know.
That's interesting. I asked this question because you see this a lot on social media. There's a lot of debate on social media right now about going half and who does this and who does that. And when you get down to the red tape, it's one of the weirdest things happening right now in our social culture between black men and black women, wanting to have debates about these high level things.
It's a war of the sexes. It's not even like high level shit. It's just, motherfuckers people just want to be right.
Yeah.
Right. So
They
it's so trash.
Everybody swear they know what the other person should be. They're not even worried about what they should be.
It's the most trash thing in the world, y'all. We against each other, and we need each other more
They
than
always
ever.
get stuck on, and what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right. But what are you doing? Well, what are you doing?
You know that chubby dude with the dreads that do the little TikTok. He be playing the sounds.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and you want to do? He asked the old girl what she brings to the table, and then she just was stuck like nothing, and then she like, I bring me like, oh, all right.
The thing about it is, and I often tell people this all the time. I'm like, they be like, yeah, Hero. They'll send me a clip. Like, Hero, what do you think about this? See, he's proving his point. They don't really bring it down. Like, yeah, there's a reason why he went to the club to find these people, and he didn't go to Berkeley's School of Law to find one of women coming down the steps of those. There's a reason why he's not waiting outside of a hospital, city hall, or or an entrepreneur or a esthetician's office, because he knows who he can talk to. He knows who he can approach.
But what I say, oh, go ahead.
Go.
Oh,
I was gonna say, like, I would also say those are the people that's not engaging in that hyperbole.
Yeah. Exactly.
And also
So
people that's willing to come.
Yeah.
Facts. Absolute facts. And with that, like, I don't know if we even described the first part of the book. It's so hard to describe the book because there's no real story. He just hits the road running.
Yeah.
Is there?
I love the chapter name because the chapters be like they're straight to the point.
They're straight to the point.
Straight to the point. So I'll just take this opportunity, starting with you, Rob. Just what did you take from this first part? A collective summary, because it's so hard for me to describe this.
So what I'll touch on two quick chapters real quick. I'll just refresh my memory. Okay, So I think the chapters that hit the hardest home for me in this first part will be chapter 3, which is live as if your father were dead. And I think, what's that, bro?
You
No.
muted yourself, Black.
Yo, bro, you muted.
And
Yeah, I
Rock,
was cutting my nails. I didn't want to make no sound. No, I was saying, could we go chapter by chapter? Because I want to talk about that one too.
all right then.
No.
I was reading through it, so I didn't even. I read the PDF, so I didn't even see the chapters. I just read the PDF of part 1.
Yeah.
So what's
Well, you know,
chapter 1?
He says it never ends.
Oh,
That's why-
okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay, that's
one.
chapter 1. All right, so yeah, if you want to start there, or Rob, you want to continue? Yeah, let's start there. So it never ends. This is a false sense of security that I had to learn after leaving the NFL. I thought for sure, like, oh, okay, cool, I'm set. There's nothing else. There's nothing going on. And then I saw my friend on the Giants get injured, and they literally carted him off, and they brought someone who looked just like him to take his spot. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, dang, so we ain't gonna wait for him to get better? And they were like, oh, he's not getting better. And he spent the rest of his life trying to get back in the league. And I quickly saw how that could become me because, like, for him, it wasn't over. But for me, I was thinking, like, dang, what's the next move? He didn't have a next move. His next move was he played football. So it never ends. It's a very soul-crushing thing to hear because as men, we pride ourselves on our accomplishments. And to hear that there's no amount of accomplishment that will get us to a safe spot. We constantly have to be in this mental space of what's the next move. It's so tiring. It's so exhausting.
I take it as that's the only way you live, though.
It's so exhausting.
So many people retire way too late and then just dying off. Like I got a couple coworkers that retired. One died 3 months after retired. Somebody right now just retired last year. He's in the hospital with cirrhosis, and it's like they're not finding something to do. Like that's what I was looking at it as. Like life don't end, but like you can have freedom because that's our main goal.
Right.
So what it's saying, like, he was saying, like, do what you wait to do, like what you want to do at the end of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Do that shit an hour a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that, for me, that can just be sitting back and meditating, or just being without the surroundings of everything else, like everything.
I just think about the pursuit of happiness, right? Like the real definition behind that. Like a lot of people always complaining. If you pay attention to a lot of stuff, like a lot of people always saying how they not happy or depression, like running rapid, right? But like the pursuit of happiness is an everyday thing. Like it's not like yeah, I got happiness today. It ain't going nowhere. I got it in a bottle. Like nah, like that's human nature to always want more. Even if you get to a spot, like you'll wonder why a billionaire's still trying to triple their money. It's because like, okay, I live this life now. Now I'm trying to I already accomplished that.
Because ain't much more you can have after that. Like you got everything. What the fuck else you have?
It's a game. It's a game of competition, really. When it get the money, like it become a financial game, like a.
And a lot of people, you also don't understand. Like there's something like I'm not arguing for millionaires and billionaires here, but you do run in like if you're. Like it's like someone who says they want to make 6 figures. Well, 100,000 6 figures, but after taxes, man, you making 70,000. So like you run into millionaire problems that you weren't expecting, things you didn't expect to run into. And I'm not saying that millionaire problems are worse than 60,000 single mom household problems. But like, if you
nobody's problems worse than the middle class problems. Once you pass fucking
ain't no
the middle class, you
ain't no middle class.
You lose those problems. Yeah,
ain't no middle class.
There's definitely a middle class. That it's the bottom of the barrel.
You middle class, my brother.
I know it.
Probably upper.
No, JB is upper. He got 3 kids. He's definitely upper. He's definitely upper.
I got 3 kids. I'm lower middle class.
The lower class because they get all that provided help.
Yeah.
Either right above us.
That's why I said it's all the same.
No, it ain't nothing the same. They way happier than us.
Let's look at chapter 2. Like I said, I don't have the titles. What was the title for chapter 2?
Live with an open heart, even if it hurts.
So this one right here, spoke to me because I hold grudges. I am begrudged and faded to the extent where like I remember people. I write their names down, and once I accomplish said goal, I contact them. I let them know, hey, you don't remember me. We had this one interaction. I just want to let you know I did it. And they'll be like, did what? Not important. And to just hang up. And that's just the, you know.
Oh, okay. And one more, and one more thing about the first chapter. Wait, what stuck with me? He said that future life may be a fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me too because of fucking.
But
you never know.
You never know.
Because so many people out there. Like fucking, I got a bunch of friends that ain't making to PC fucking nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But living with this grudge, to hear him talk about, you know, you gotta give this pain up in your heart. Basically, this was probably this is what softened me to the book, because it felt like a direct jab to me. What has, you don't necessarily have to talk about those things if it's too personal, but what is something that softened you to like loving in a way that is more giving instead of receiving?
My daughter.
They want girls. Yeah.
Wow, the kids off
Or
top. Do you feel like this is something only a woman can bring to a man?
Probably.
The way y'all answered it was so immediate. Like, damn. What did you say, Rob?
I said going without.
Oh, isolation.
I think that's like a poison.
I feel like that hurts. That hurts more than it.
It depends on who you is.
Because it builds stuff up for people that's really not there. Like when they're alone all the time, they always just feel like that's like the best bet, like that, and it's the worst thing in the world.
Isolation.
Yeah, being by yeah.
Why is that the worst?
You're not
thing?
made to be by yourself.
Yeah, you're not made to be alone.
For periods, for like an hour.
No, that's different though.
That's not isolation. That's not isolation. That's me time. That's a recovery time. You need a better word. You need a better word.
What it is for you, Rob, you call it isolation, but you know your wife is fucking in the next room.
Yeah. Rob, back up from the camera. This is your shot. This is supposed to be your money shot. You over here on the camera. Back up, Rob.
On the camera like this.
Rob, back up. God, you can see yourself.
Y'all know he a giant, so shit, he got that low the chest.
The poet said, I'm still tall.
Yeah, no, it's just episode 1. We still working it out. We still working it out. But yeah, I think that's more of recovery time. That's a recovery time for you, not isolation. Isolation is truly a devastating thing to the soul. It's the inability to even call for help. That's isolation. When I think of that, like you can't even call for help. Like you forgot how, or it doesn't make sense for you to do it.
I think isolation. I think Black threw isolation out there. When I said going without, I mean
He wrote.
Hey, why are you passing the blame? Why ain't you taking responsibility? You was here with me. Why ain't you just take responsibility for it? God.
I was just talking about how introverts be on Facebook the other day.
Yeah, you're right. You sure right. You got me there. Chapter 3.
I think he meant something else with going without though. I think he meant like not having stuff.
Having, right?
Oh no. Well, in the book, what he was talking about was instead of, you know how people he was saying live with a hurting heart. He said he'd rather live with a hurting heart rather than a closed one. Because once you close yourself out, it's like
it's over.
Progression is even hard with that.
Yeah.
Because you can't progress in a lot of stuff. Once you fuck up yourself, that's gonna be your biggest battle of your next step. Because you're gonna always want to take a step back. That step back is safety for everybody. Like I'm gonna take a step back and recover from this, but that's the problem. That's what, like we were saying, living on the edge. That step back is a problem.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's probably why men get over relationships faster than women. Because we just jump right back in. Yeah, just jump right back in. They be like, how you jump right back in? Cause shoot, also, it's a hurting heart. I gotta heal it.
Nowadays, the women leave before really be working it out. Men will work out stuff. The men don't leave relationships. Men will be like, shit could be horrible, and a nigga would just be like, I ain't leaving because I'd rather put in the work. Niggas would rather put in the work than just be like, fuck this, I already tried a little bit. Let me go somewhere else, see if it's gonna be better. Because I think men understand that life is life everywhere. So once you start building this building and you don't like that second level, instead of just readjusting, and you're gonna go and start a whole new building, that don't make sense.
Yeah.
Now, my grandma told me a long time ago, no matter who you choose, they're gonna have stuff that's gonna irritate you, bother you, and whatever. But y'all just need to figure out how y'all work best together. So.
Yeah, this is still a concept.
As long as everybody's willing to do the work,
it
can get done.
That's something that's
the biggest part.
Yeah, that was something that that was when my relationship stopped being just we going out, and it started being, oh damn, this is when it gets serious. When that first time y'all have a situation where you have to hold each other accountable and you both have to have some effort into it, that's when you're like, oh, we ain't just talking no more. I see. Chapter 3, Rob, you said you wanted to lead on it. Go for it.
No, I think this is one of the chapters that hit home for me the hardest, because going back to our earlier conversation of community and helping the community, with this chapter, it just reminded me of this notion of, nobody's coming to save you, dog. You gotta save yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just like, if you think about a child, right? A young child, they look at their parents for absolutely everything, right? And at some point, your parents aren't going to be an answer. You have to be the answer for yourself. And there's so many people, in my opinion, in our communities that don't want to put the work in and take the initiative in hopes of somebody going to do it for them, and they reap all the benefits of that.
That's all it always be. That's the point. Like, everybody just look for somebody's handout or something that's going to come to them. That they manifesting everything and ain't doing no work.
they just putting it in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get that to God, because like what?
Is this why it's also, and we could take a step back from the relationship, but a lot of people wonder, like, how effective is this thought process that people really don't want to make decisions for themselves? People really don't want to put in the work. I point to our 2-tier democratic system. We literally, as a collective group, have not asked for more of our leaders, because who's going to even be the one to demand more of them? Who's going to hold them people? Now, that's not to say that there's not people trying, all the way back from my earliest memory of them, the Black Panther Party, so on and so forth, women's groups, health rights groups, whatever. The point is, it is extremely difficult. It is extremely difficult to motivate and mobilize a group of people to do something for the betterment of a collective group of people without no give backs or take back or anything like that. It's super difficult. Do we have anything else on the? Oh wait, Rob's gone. What was chapter 4?
He back.
We on 3. No, now we on 3. This is Rob's chapter.
Rob,
I'm on chapter 3 too.
I do, but I'm saying, but you was ready to jump to that motherfucker, and I also wanted to ask you about that too, though. So go ahead.
Go for it.
Because your father passed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying, does that make a difference for you? Because that's why I just want to hear your perspective on it.
So I think it did, but I think it did because I didn't have an older brother.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like my father died immediately, and when he died when I was 4, I immediately became a man of the house.
Yeah.
Right. So I
learned that on black kids too, though. To become a man of the house.
We do.
Right. And it's just like you learn when that's your facts and circumstance. You learn at a very early age. Ain't nobody coming to save you.
Yeah.
So it's just like from cooking, I got to learn how to cook myself because ain't nobody gonna teach me.
Cause mama go out to work.
Right. My mama got 2 or 3 jobs. Damn, that's a woman. Should a woman be working 2 or 3 jobs? Man, I can't wait to turn 16 so I can get a job and help.
Yeah. And
it comes from a place of love, though. Yeah. Like you didn't like.
I think it's more survival than love.
Well, there's a lot of survival with
It's a lot of survival.
You get to eat ravioli, man. Like, man, if I could just
I just hug my mama, rub her feet when she get off work. I ain't got to get a job. You know, that's love. But going out and
No, speak on it. No, speak on that shit. No, you damn right. You're right.
going
Like,
out,
That's real though.
I feel like the kids shouldn't have to minimize their life to better everybody else's life. I told my nephew that as soon as he graduated boot camp, I told him, before you came here, ain't nobody need your money or need you to do nothing for them. But when you leave boot camp, everybody's life will still go on. Do not be fucking responding to people asking you for money about what they need. And the first thing he did was give a lot of his money up to motherfuckers that was in need. I'm like, they were surviving before you and they work now. Keep your money to yourself. You need to build your foundation.
But, and you bring up a really good point. But I think, do you think a portion of that could be he was suffering from this thing called survivor's guilt? Where it's just like, nothing. Now I have a little bit more than I did, and damn, you still ain't got nothing. Damn,
the people that he was, I ain't gonna say the person they was taking care of ain't have that much input on his life. They might have gave him life, but they didn't develop it for him or finance it. Or guide them. They were just there. They were just
But is this a clash of your own personality? Because to Black's point, man, fuck the community. Like, take care of yourself.
Not fuck the community, man.
Black's point.
Hey, Black's point.
Black point. Fuck
Hey, yo, I ain't shit. I am not shit at all. But
and that for you too, hero. But when it comes to be free of your father's expectations, because I know that your fathers are harder on the actual Africans. Fathers are hard on their kids.
Yeah, like my dad made a conscious decision when I turned 18 to be like, all right, I'm leaving. Like, you did it. You got into college for free. You can hold the family down. Good luck. I taught you everything you need to know. And I was like, but I'm leaving to go to college. He was like, you'll figure it out.
Because that's probably what he had to do. Because especially, you Nigerian, right?
Yeah. So he was ready to bounce.
Yeah.
He was ready to get back to a life where he was in control of things. He didn't want a government or people telling him having a boss. That's just not something he's ever known to have. He had a house and land in a place where he was free. He was confused why he was doing all this work. So to him, I could see where he's from. But to me, I also had my younger brother and sister, and we just had 2 cousins who just made it back from Africa living with us. So 5 kids in the house, my mom with her own. And he's like, oh, your mom's going to be leaving in like 2 years, so you guys need to make sure you got the house running. Could you imagine me, 20, junior, at that point I was interviewing with NFL teams, my brother in college, sister in college, 2 kids who are going to TF North right now, and they in the house by themselves. It's not practical. Even for our sophisticated, it wasn't practical. But that was something like parents would ask kids to do, which is.
It was like, well, see, you said it's not practical because that's what it was.
But that's what it was. That was what it was. Yeah.
I was happy to do it though. Like when I was 5, I was happy to just leave. I stayed with my father after my mother and father left each other. I was like 6. And I dipped. I'm like, I'm going my father. I'm by myself.
Mm-hmm.
He got to work. She got to work. So I was on my own. I was catching the bus all through the city. I was getting the bus. I enjoyed that kind of freedom and independability. But the kids now don't get that. I think we handicap them to an extent.
Yeah, but
now kids be 14. They be like, you be scared to let your kid go somewhere. And they 14.
Yeah, but I mean, it's because we grew up seeing what could happen. And also, I think no parent wants their child to experience their struggle. If I could drop my kid off to school every day and not have to get on a bus and be bullied for being fresh off the boat, I'd do it. But is the reason why that shit doesn't bother me now and why I can laugh at people about that shit now because I experienced it? Is it enough to just tell your kids that there are bad people in the world? Is that enough?
Well, or kind of showing it to them. We were just talking about that other day, how they had the post was saying being black when you were a kid was like being black in 1925, and I'm like, I didn't experience that because I said it's only a difference between the people that's not gonna whoop your ass, who you gonna play with.
Yeah.
So me being black was never a thing. Only people that would like to play with me like that would be my friends, and that's how we would play with each other. But no random person to just be like, If they ain't my friend, they not gonna say nothing out of line. They know what's to come.
Yeah. Anything
And-
else?
and-
Go for
Well,
it.
shit, Jeremiah too. But my father didn't. My father expectations of me was more so. He expected me to do well. That's about it. Because they felt that I was, I was okay. Beside what I was to go in my life. He wasn't
Jeremiah,
saying
what
that.
about the expectation for you?
My household was a little different. It's funny, my mom and I, we actually talk about this now, because my dad, he worked like 16 hours a day, because she had just started doing her insurance stuff. Like when I turned 8, 9, like 10, she had just started doing insurance, so she wasn't really bringing in the income. So that was his way of supporting her do that. But while he gone, I step into that role of being dad. I even talked to my mom about that now, because I'm like, that's the difference between me and my sisters. Like, they didn't really learn what it was like to have to be able to, or have to, pick up the slack and, cook and clean and all of that extra stuff. Like, I was just doing it, mowing the lawn, shoveling snow. Like, I was basically my dad because he wasn't there, but you got the dad in the house. But looking back now, my dad, he always tell me now, like, I'm the best man that he ever known, because he looking at me being able to do everything that he was doing and then some, right, without working as much.
But he paved the way for that. So
he paved the way, right? And we
way.
talk about, me and him talk about that, because he feel like he missed out on so much. And we talk about that, and I'm like, well, I couldn't do what I'm doing if you wasn't doing what you was doing.
And I say that too, though. Like,
Sort of deal.
how much the black family miss out on their kids stuff because they trying to provide for them.
It's something wild. It's something wild that, like, the first game my dad saw me play wasn't in football. Any sport. I won state championships. I've gone to conference, wrestling, football, track. He never saw that. The first and only game he ever saw was my last game in college. And it was a part of me that said, where we've come to at this point, was it worth it? And, to see how happy he was, to see him with the jersey and he's smiling and, like, he's seeing all these people have adulation and celebration for his offspring. It brought him to tears. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, did going to that Thursday shift really matter as much? Or could you have spent like one night to watch kid? And in retrospect, you never know, but you can only be proud of the the results now.
Back then they'd have fired his ass.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
Probably.
Hey, when I saw some of his pay stubs, his shit had the dot in it. Like, boop, boop. No, you were here at this time and you left at this time. There was no, I'm gonna sneak out 30 minutes early. Nah, they clocked everything.
They didn't do that back then.
They didn't play that.
I still clock in now.
Are we going to chapter 5? I don't know how much time we got.
Did we go to 4?
I know I'm asking, like, what's the end of part 1, chapter 5?
Know your real edge and
know
don't
your
fake
real
it.
edge. Shit, it's 16
Know
chapters.
your edge and don't fake it.
Okay, so what's know your edge and don't fake it? This is something that had me cracking up as well, because I call this a little bit of imposter syndrome, which a lot of black people have in the professional world. I think I would come into rooms and feel very like I had a chip on my shoulder, like I had to prove something, and everybody else in the room be like, "Yeah, man, just do your job and leave." And I was just like, "No, we gotta have some type of XYZ," and it just became too much. But I felt like because I was working in healthcare and I was the only person who looked like me, I didn't see that. Now that I have the ability to build my own around me, I have the ability to see that in earlier people, younger people in their career, and say, "Hey, man, look. You don't have to do push-ups before you come in here. You ain't whooping nobody's ass. Just, take care of your patient, go home." And
You never know.
Hey, I pride myself on this year. We never had to call security to my floor, and that's something that not a lot of people can say that. Not a lot of people can say that in my hospital right now. But
when they see the 7-foot surgeon going around the corner, they're gonna be like, all right. He did everything he could.
Y'all ain't shit. What is finding your edge?
I see that he did everything he was gonna do.
What does finding your edge and sticking to it look like for you, JB?
This where he went back into kind of the masculinity piece of it, right? And for me, it's different, right? I was raised with 4 sisters and mostly my mom. Like I said, my dad was there, but he worked all the time. So my ability to communicate and understand, not just men and women, I think overall just people. I think that leans back into, he called it feminine, but having an understanding of that emotional side, and then being able to communicate and my point effectively, and then understanding somebody else's point effectively. I think that's always been my edge. Even I use it in my business on the sales side with training my team and everything. Just the ability to relate with others.
Do y'all like how he's not? So at first it would seem like he was just saying be fully masculine, but he says to be, you got to be equally both.
Yeah.
You gotta be balanced. Yeah.
You gotta have balance.
Too much of either fuck everything up.
Yep.
So I fuck with that, and it's like living to your edge. You gotta find you really gotta find your edge of what you like, because there's so much of your time that you're not utilizing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you go to work and then you got that break in between work. Like me driving home, I don't always listen to music. I would just listen to a book. I would listen to an interview. I would listen to something like that. Me going to work, I do that same thing. And when I get home, that way I can be, well, now I'm on nights, so I worry about daytime with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So I separate that time with everything, so that way I'm using every amount of time that I'm awake. But I'm not working out, so that's a portion that I know I ain't on my edge. And I don't know if I'm gonna be that.
Let's go. You want to work out, Black? You want to work out?
I do every day. I say that, and then every day I come home and don't do it.
January 1st to start saying
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, every day, because I got everything you need that fucking that I would need for stuff that I want to do, and I just don't do it.
January 1st, man. I can't. I'm gonna miss that week of the gym.
Oh man, that's my vacation. That's my vacation. Honestly.
Where you at right now? You in the garage?
Yeah, I got stuff in the garage, but we got. Yeah, I got stuff
They
in the
got
garage.
that fold up gym that you can put on the wall. You unfold that bitch and work out, and fold it back up.
Yeah.
You sound like you ain't using yours though. Let me borrow that.
I ain't know. I got a pull up bar. Let me cut this camera off. I got a pull up bar right behind me that I never use.
Rob, what does it? What is your edge and what does it look like approaching it? What is it?
I think for me this chapter resonated. I guess the phrase self accountability came in, because I feel like in life we all got a natural born edge, a talent, a gift. The challenge is actually identifying what that is and leaning into it. Okay. So I think for me, when I started in my career, we talk about imposter syndrome, right? Early on in my career, I had a lot of that, right? Because I'm surrounded by all these people, and some of their fathers were accountants, so it's just like things roll off the tongue a lot faster than them. Or we'll be in a room having a conversation with the partners, and somebody that's my level will say something that just releasing the news. I'm like, damn, this person's smart, and over time I learned to take a step back, and no, they're not smarter than you. They just had a different starting point, and they use their spare time to give them a competitive edge, right? So at that point or moment, I asked myself, well, what is your competitive edge? And my answer is, I'm a grinder, right? There's not that many people, and this is my opinion, on this planet that will outwork me, right? So it's just like...
But your intellect shine with your height, too. Your intellect is a little bit taller than a lot of people.
We talk about this a lot too. So in my profession, being smart, it's important, and I'm fairly intelligent. But
yeah, I think that's different than smart.
When shit hits the fan, you got to get shit done. Which means you gonna grind. You got to grind it. So,
but that's where intelligence come into play.
Come to my world. Come to my world.
I think smart is being able to be taught. I think intelligent is being able to teach yourself. So I always say that's the difference for me.
Yeah.
This chapter also brought back to being married, right?
Yeah.
It also because me and my wife we even when she met me, I would always say like, I'm not saying who does the gender roles, but I believe there's a place for it, right? I don't say who does what, but we can't both be doing everything,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
That's dumb. Nah, you can't. Like you can, right? But that's
everyone can. Everyone should be capable, but everyone can't
everybody
do
should
it.
be capable, but everybody can't do everything.
Everything, yeah.
Right. So like being able to fill in your lane, and that's what we always in our marriage we always working on. Like, okay, this is what your lane. Like, you better at this. You got this. Even when we move, like you take care of this stuff, I'm gonna take care of that stuff, et cetera, et cetera. But going back to what he was saying in the book, like being balanced to be able to do both, right? It's times where I'm the main cook in the house. Even people asked yesterday, and there's at our baby shower, like, who do most of y'all cooking? She point right at me. But I don't look at that as like a gender role, but it's a role. Like, okay, she know I'm gonna take care of the cooking. That's when she getting the kids ready for school or for their bath for the next night or whatever. And we not both sitting there looking at each other like, okay, well, all right, who gonna get the kids in the bath now? Like
a couple years, you just say, go get your ass into it.
Yeah,
a couple years. We not. We starting over. A couple years, my ass. I said 10 years. I might be able to tell somebody take the damn garbage out.
I think
my baby can take care of most of everything.
Yeah.
I even teach her how to cook, so that way she ain't gotta depend on me for certain stuff. And I got the air fryer and stuff. Got the instructions on the back. Read that shit. You can read.
Hey, reading comprehension. Honestly, you gotta trust your offspring to like. I have to sit here and think like sometimes my nieces and nephew be here and I'll be like, oh man, I just told you to do something. I just realized you've only had your brain for 5 years, so you don't know. You don't have enough time experiencing this. All right, look, son, you can't open the door unless the top lock is undone. So when I told you to go get the mail, it definitely didn't escape me that you never had unlocked the door before. So my bad. Let me help you out.
That's another thing with kids. Like now, because unlocking the door at 5. Come on now, my man.
I mean, see how you got.
Hey, come on, man. A 3-year-old monkey can open up a door.
Like said, he was on the Holster bus headed west.
I would be all the way on 69th and Horn. I'll be on 79th and Yates. I go all the way downtown to the Empire. I mean, to the motherfucking what's the main building next to the Sears Tower?
What, John Hancock?
No, I know which one that has the color factory in it.
Yeah, and all that shit.
Something dead.
My OG used to work down. I'll be at her job.
Nah, that's great. So that's the end of chapter 4. We'll start chapter 5 with Shiva next week. I think the Shiva part was.
So we not gonna do the whole first part.
I mean, because you said it's 16 chapters, so
yeah, 16. But the crazy part, the chapters are short as shit.
It's short, yeah.
Okay, so you want to do Shiva chapter 5? Because I like chapter 5.
Chapter 5 is always your deepest realization.
Oh, which one was Shiva?
What you read?
I think he reading a whole nother book.
The same book. Shiva is in like towards the later chapters, like probably like 12 or 11.
Oh wow! So I got all the way that far. Because mine didn't have the chapters.
You're supposed to end at 14. You're supposed to end at 15. I think
15.
Was the last chapter.
Oh, okay.
And I was gonna go back over that because I wasn't fully understanding that. I was at work. It was 3 a.m.
Yeah, always hold on to your deepest realization.
Never
change your woman mind just to please. Never change your mind just to please a woman.
Yeah.
And your purpose must always come before your relationship.
And we can put all 3 of those together.
You can put all in them
all together. That last one that JB mentioned is something that I find so difficult explaining to people, like, because I think a lot of people don't understand like how important it is for when a man has the opportunity to work on himself, no matter what that might look like. You gotta give homage to it. Like when I tell people my profession, I cut people open and try and save their lives. People have a high respect for that. But then when people are like, oh, so what do you do with your time? Oh, I draw comic books, or I practice coding, or I stream online. They're like, okay, nerd. And I'm like, I also make enough money to probably pay someone's salary. So doing that, so try and put some respect on my name. Like people see that and say like it's a game. And Black would know this because he dabbled in streaming. It's not something that's easy. It's not something that you could just immediately turn on. So like getting people to respect your resolve and the things that you use to sharpen your iron. It's something I have to stop doing. I can't expect people who don't have iron in their blood to be sharpened by what I'm doing or to see what I'm doing as on par.
Understand it. You ain't gotta bring everything Barney style to these stupid people. Like I ain't trying to explain my existence to nobody. That's not my thing.
Well, I mean, the other part of that to me, again, going back to the relationship part of it, how you gonna tell somebody to follow you and you don't know where the hell you're going?
Exactly. And that's a big part of everything. That's the reason a lot of relationships don't work out because you want to be the individual purpose of your mate's whole life, and life ain't gonna work that way. As soon as you become that, you're not gonna want that person. You're like, God damn, let go.
Go away. You don't got no hobbies. You don't do nothing for fun.
And that be the thing. Like a lot of people don't even have a hobby, have an outlet
That
themselves, and they be
that's
always
scary.
worried about.
That's scary.
And they be like, oh, why that man going to play that game? That's his outlet. That's his hobby. Be playing the game. It's a lot of stuff that you could be doing. I be asking, what y'all like doing for fun? And they don't even know what they want to do. They don't know what.
Yep.
That's scary.
They ain't nobody doing no puzzles. Like you got that little brain tease and shit every day.
Yeah.
Like I work on certain, you work on certain stuff just to keep yourself sharp. It's so many people not doing that. They not like you be like, what you read today? Like what you looking into? Like they don't know about nothing.
Stock market, nothing. Like nothing. Like when you sit back and itemize all the little things you do as a man that is trying to be well rounded, it's kind of scary because like somebody told me this the other day. It was like, man, Hero, like I remember when you told me about your stock portfolio and I started doing it. And he started talking to me and I was like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about as far as the Dow Jones is concerned. Like I just do dividend investing. He's like, but you seem so well-rounded and so. I was like, bro, I'm happy I inspired you to do all that, but by no means do I am I a savant at this? I never proclaimed to be, but to see that I gave that spark to somebody was wild. Why? Like, do you find that to be like an issue? If someone doesn't have a spark to want to be self-improved or want to just are not curious, I think is the word I'm looking for. People who aren't curious about their lives and their surroundings really do trouble me.
Shit, I don't say. People, man, go ahead, Jeremiah.
Y'all, you about to say something? Get off your
right. Get yours off.
Get your shit off your chest.
He's trying to keep Hero sponsors. He's trying to keep it.
Hey.
That's respect. Nah,
people just be lost into the hype of life. They're not even like the reality of life, and then the hype of life is crazy for people, especially with social media. Everybody think that they can do everything and everything's available for them, and it's not. Like I had the breakdown of my nephew. He wanted to be he was telling me like he was in like 7th grade. Like he was like a freshman. Like I want to be a brain surgeon. I'm like, who do you see what you do in school? It was just off of love of what happened to one of his baby sisters. But I'm like, bro, that's not your life, man. I'm not that be all. You can do whatever you want to do. That ain't how life work out.
Oh my God.
I'm like, bro, doctors. You would be like a dentist assistant. I'm like, bro, that's not how life works. Everybody can't just be what the hell they want to be.
Well, you say he can go to school for code.
Yeah. Well, no, he can't. No, he's not like he's not that smart.
No, billing and code. I'm not talking about
billing and coding. He could be a scribe. He could be a scribe.
But I'm telling you, I'm like, you're not. Yeah, like, that's not your level of intellect, and that's okay. Go do something that fits you. Now he's going to try to be a pilot. That's way different than cutting somebody's brain over, my nigga. You can learn that you ain't gonna be able to.
Bro, what you did in that instance is chapter 4.
Yeah.
Boy, your real don't fail.
And have a friend and a little bit of having a community to push you like yo. I was gonna ask you guys this. This is fascinating to me.
Cause look, if you low on iron, your hand gonna shake, and you definitely ain't about to cut nobody's head open.
Nah. JB.
Yeah.
I forgot the question I posed, but
I
basically,
was-
go ahead.
No, I said I was waiting on the question.
So the question for this is, so when you have a situation where similar to what you want, like you don't know what you want, what is the concerns when someone doesn't have a hobby or an ability or an idea of self? Like how important is it for your partner, the people in your lives, to have things that motivate them to do more, to drive forward, to keep going forward? Is that a red flag when you see someone who isn't motivated?
I mean, partially. I think you said how important it is. I think that's why a lot of people feel like life be whooping their ass because they ain't in control of nothing. Like, like if you just you just wake up, you go to work. Yeah, you wake up, you go to work. Like if you got kids, you doing whatever you got going on with your kids. You come home, like that's the end of your day. Like what else you finna do? Like life gonna run you. You know, but if you ain't got nothing that you even going back to that other chapter where you talk about living like your father's dead or not here anymore, like being able to say, all right, I'm gonna do 1 hour towards something that's something else, right? That's not what life handed me, really, because that's what most people live. Most people live whatever cards life deal to them, and you're gonna end up wherever life put your ass, because that's what happened.
Yeah.
Like,
so you believe that in order for you to, in general, we believe that in order for you to have a positive impact in your life, it's not going to come to you. You have to drive towards it, essentially.
Hardly anything is just going to come to you.
And if it do come to you, you ain't going to be ready for it, so you're going to lose it just as quickly as you got it.
If you get it fast, it's getting up out of there fast.
Yeah, it's going to come to you, it's going to leave.
Like, people make a quick little piece of change, they be like, oh, I can do that again. Nigga, it's not like that in real life. That's not how life works.
That's fascinating.
And another thing with chapter 6 was never changing your mind. People fall big on that. People fail on that. Like, you know how they say don't bring your shit to somebody because they might, they hate on you. But I think that's a weakness in a person. Not like because we want to do something and somebody tell them something else and they don't do it because
when do you think it's okay to let go of stuff then? Because holding on to something too long will be detrimental to you. So what are the triggers for you?
I knew me saying I want to be an NBA player. 5'8", playing sports. But I'm like, I'm going to the league. I ain't even on the team. But that's what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? Like that.
Okay.
These kids that around like right now, they like that. I'll be like, yeah, I want to go to the league. I'm like, you don't play AAU. You ain't even training. You ain't got nothing. Like I had to tell my other nephew, his brother, the one that wanted to
Black be out here hurting his family's feelings. Good God.
He was like, I want to go to the league. He was 8th grade. I'm like, all right. Let me know when you're ready. I'm gonna send you to I was gonna send let motherfucker train him or whatever. He ain't never trained. He barely was on the team. Grades wasn't good enough to keep him on the team. Freshman year come, he gets some hype. Still ain't doing right. Still ain't want to play. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You might want to go to the service, my nigga.
It's okay to change. It's okay to change when your decisions becoming a detriment to yourself and others.
Yeah.
Define detriment.
Define detriment. Because I think honestly, a detriment, I can take a few L's. I can take a lot of L's in the pursuit of my goals. But I think the time I knew I was done with the NFL, this was something that someone had to tell me. I was leaving Dallas after training at the Texans. And I literally went to go do the trial at the Texans just to make $16,000 real quick so I could pay my rent. And I was going to go to Dallas and train with Jerry. And I was on the plane. I was heading over. And my brother called me. He's like, man, you doing all this stuff. What's called this? He was like, you don't think this is hurting you? Like, you don't think like you could be doing something else? And I was just like, what else am I supposed to do? He's like, but I mean, Hero, you have a whole chemistry degree. You could do whatever you want. And it took him saying that to me for me to wake up and be like, yeah, maybe I should leave this alone. Like, maybe I shouldn't pursue this anymore. So, like, I needed that wake up. But I don't know if there was anyone in my life other than my brother who would later become an NFL agent to say that "Look, kid, it's time to call it up." Like I didn't know who I needed. So like I think like it's important to have friends like that. But like how much is it too much? Like how much is too much? Like Rob, when you think about the things that you've held on to, what was that breaking point?
Well, I'll tell you about a time my wife actually came in the clutch.
Mm.
So we actually worked together at the same firm. I was a year ahead of her. So I make senior, and she's like a staff 2, which is the level directly below senior. And going back to the notion of and I've always known this, there's not that many people that can outwork me, right?
Mm.
So while my peers are doing, I'll say 5 or 6 engagements or projects, I'm doing 10. Right. And with that came all these accolades from the higher ups. Oh, keep doing what you're doing, right? But there's this certification that you need to obtain in order to become a manager. So the hierarchy is staff, senior manager, director, partner, right? And this at this time, my wife, we were just strictly platonic friends. She like pulled me to the side and she was just like, "What the fuck you doing, bro?"
Mm.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She like, "You working all these hours for these people and they loving you for it, but you're not helping yourself. You got to help yourself first." Right? And I'm like, "What you mean I am helping myself? Man, you don't see my ratings? I got the highest ratings you can get. But you don't have your CPA. You don't have your CPA, bro. You can't make manager without it.
Mm.
So you can keep working 100-some hours a week and don't make manager, or you could dial it the fuck back. Work just as much as everybody else, get your exams, and then go to the next level on it."
Mm.
Damn. She was right.
Yeah.
She was right.
Another thing with you, Rob, is when you were in college, you was doing engineering first.
Yeah.
And then I remember you switched over and you was like, I'm gonna go over to accounting.
No, I never did engineering. So when I started the college, I actually went to college just so my mama could shut up, man. Keep on. Well,
Mama, we love you. Mama, we love you.
Hey, I love her wholeheartedly, but
a lot of people just say go to college without no true guidance
plan.
on what
Yeah.
to do when you get there. So yeah. But you were telling me that you was like you was in the separate programs, right? You were in I thought you was in the engineering program first, and then you went to accounting.
So I go to college just to go, and how I ended up deciding college, and I actually doubled back to Miss Horak from TF North.
Yeah, that was my honors fucking. What was that? Calculus for us and shit.
Pre-calc something.
Yeah.
Because I've always been great at math, right? Yeah. But one of my shortcomings, I didn't want to be a nerd, right? I didn't want to be a nerd. So what I would do in school is I would do just enough to get a B.
Yeah.
I could have got A's. I don't want that. I don't want that jacket of being a nerd.
Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? But I'm a freshman in college, and I'm like, man, what am I going to school for? And I remember a conversation me and Ms. Horak had where she was just like, dude, you should be an accountant. Yeah. So I'm a freshman. First thing I look up, how much they make. I ain't going to even lie to you. I saw it. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be an accountant. Mm-hmm. It sucked.
I thought you was going to do I swear I thought you was in an engineering program because, it's the same thing with math, and they also make a lot of money, but engineers also make a lot of fucking crazy mistakes. It's the funniest shit in the world because engineers gonna draw up everything and how it should go and how it would be, but they don't implement fucking any of the real life situations.
No real life situations.
And everything look man. They draw so much.
They're some of the worst customers too, boy.
Yeah, because they know everything.
They ask too many goddamn questions, and they gotta be man, bro. Like this is insurance. Like, you want it or not.
And as far as going with progression, like with doing something to your detriment, I feel like if you keep doing it and you don't see no progression, as long as you see a little progression, you're okay to keep going because you're not going to get all the way to the end from the jump. Worry about your next step and not your last step. If you keep worrying about your next step instead of the last step,
Lemon Demon
you'll eventually get there.
And then, I don't think I actually answered Hero question either. And he was like, you held on to too long. I think some of the people growing up, I held on to some of the wrong people for too long. And it resulted in a few situations that a lot of situations I could avoid. And after one situation, and I got the shit slapped out of me, I was just like, yo, I gotta let some of this stuff go, man.
Who smacked you, bro?
Hey, my mama.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say we might have to go revisit them. Mad Dog went back to the doctor to slap when he was a baby.
He slapped my face.
Remember the baby? Like, yeah, he went back and got the doctor and smacked him when he was born. See, I don't look at that as the same though. As far as I never look at having the friends that I had from the past as something that's holding me back, because I'm not trying to carry them to nowhere else. They can be where they are and they can still be my friends. I'm not trying to go back and and take them from where they are or trying to feed them any information that they're not taking. So I don't look at them as like being detrimental anything, because I'm not giving them that much time.
I don't even enjoy the conversation. I ain't gonna lie to you.
They got my love, and if I want to kick it or something like that, I can kick it. But that it's time for kicking it. I'm not separating that. I'm not gonna not do my real shit to go kick it. So it's not. But
that's not what I was doing.
Yeah.
I go to school. I'm going to the block.
Yeah, that's my point.
And I'm sitting on there all day.
Yeah.
And go home at night. It's stupid, man. You can't do that. You got to pick a.
Even on the block though. Like when we was out there doing dumb shit, I was around for the fights, but I ain't going to smoke. I'm gonna do I ain't really have no homework because I'm getting that shit done at school. So I would do something for me, but I'm not gonna be just hanging around. I'm around for the shit. I ain't around.
Black had straight A's. He didn't care about the nerd shit.
But no, what was funny, right? At the point, I didn't care about grades, but chemistry and in math, most of the grade was your test.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing no fucking work or nothing. I was coming in and taking the test. Jasmine used to be mad. Like, how he got that? Like,
same way.
I took the test. Like, I ain't got to worry about none of that.
Damn shit. I remember they came to me before a game.
It's 100 problems. It's 3 points. I'm not doing all this.
Not doing that homework. I remember Coach Rogers came to me before a game, like, you got a F or a D in calc. I was like, oh, we just ain't had a test yet. It's tomorrow. I'll be straight. It's tomorrow. I'll be straight. I ain't doing no damn homework. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a test tomorrow. I'll be straight. He was in the hallway. I looked him dead in the face. Like, you worry about all the wrong stuff, man. Like, I'm not the one. I'm not the one. I ain't failing. I ain't skipping first period to smoke.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I ain't the one. You got the wrong one. This
why
is test
can't y'all
tomorrow.
just smoke right before? Like, why y'all gotta wait until the school starts to do it? Like, I be telling niggas like, yeah, we got to come over there. Like, nah, I ain't coming over here, nigga. I'm not going to school. I'm skipping to fuck, and that's about it.
Black.
Black.
My sponsors, black. My sponsors, black.
Better be out there again.
Oh man! All right, then let's talk about the company you keep in this situation, and let's take a second. Somebody in the group that you want to see them. You want to compliment them on, or you want to see their next move on? Like, I think a real easy one for me to go, me start first, is I see how JB's trying to push his company, his insurance, and get his name out there. And like, one of the things that I wanted to try and commit to is getting him closer to probably the biggest organization in Georgia right now, which is the Bulldogs, and like what that looks like. Yeah, he a dog. He a dog. We talk. I ain't gonna tell everybody how you was talking about them during the SEC championship, but
hey, I had him in there though. I had him in the playoffs. I just we ain't gonna get into
it. But
dogs.
But the thing that I want to see is like the growth and the continued expansion of that. So with that in mind, with that example, what's someone in the group and what do you want to see them do? Or what do you want to see them continue to do?
I'm gonna say something that's gonna blanket for everybody in the group. It's just continuous investment in self. Yeah. Because I think there's a chapter in a book that talks about where is it? I think it's like chapter 14. Like, don't get lost in tasks and duties, right? Life is always gonna be a lot of shit and stuff you gotta do, right? don't forget to take the time to do something for yourself that you want to do. Right? Because that in doing that, that's how you can truly live a full life.
Black.
Well, shit, I'm trying to see this Rob on his fatherhood journey, and it's new for him, and then and being married. I only got a few married people that I can look at and be like, all right, I fuck with them when they married, like, because I know it ain't just bullshit. So I know Rob is gonna continuously work. He's gonna be a super family man, and I know Jeremiah's gonna do the same thing. And me and Hero just out here wilding out. But no, I look at all my friends' progression, and I it's like as if I'm right there with them doing it. So I fuck with it. So anytime they're doing anything, I just be like fully into it.
And I think sometimes as men we forget like how important our own internal support is. We like me, we have a lot of chat groups where I have the chat group for the game people I game with, the chat group I have for people from college, the book club chat group. We sometimes we forget that we need that push and motivation from each other. So like whenever somebody drops something in the chat talking about like, hey man, I just came up with this, it brings us all together for a short second on a positive note, and we can like really rise from that. And it then puts that focal point. It brightens my day. Whenever the chat, but that's the thing that like kind of bothers me. Why come I don't have the gumption to kind of start that conversation? Why is it always we gotta wait for someone else to start it? Like the initiative to start it, and you use the excuse, oh I'm busy or I gotta do this. But I was scrolling on Instagram a few minutes ago. So how busy am I? Like it's a question.
The way I look at it when it comes to reaching out to somebody is I'm not looking for it. So when it happens, it makes my day.
It makes my day.
Anytime you have like these expectations can fuck you up. But for me, it's just like when good happens, it happens, and I take it as that. But I'm not expecting it to happen on a regular, consistent basis unless I'm working for it.
Thanks.
But so I fuck with my friends. That's what I'm saying. I talk to my friends as much as I talk to them, but I'm not looking for that to elevate my life. That's why I ain't looking at them like, oh man, this nigga still in the streets. That's gonna fuck up my life. Nah, it ain't, cause I ain't holding his pack, or I ain't fronting him the money to get the pack.
No
I
more.
don't have I ain't got no investments in it. You got my pack. I'm on your ass.
Your Honor, I just text him I just text him from time to time.
Nah, and I just look at Hero how he do everything at a high level. From getting to the NFL. I don't even know if that was like a goal of yours, but you just played football at a high level, and he was like, well shit, if I can go, I'ma go. Type of thing.
The nigga even went to indoor for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Had to do the off season. I wanted that training.
Becoming a surgeon, the streaming platforms, it ain't just about like I'ma just do this, but I'ma do it at a high level. I'ma monetize it and I'm gonna make it work for me.
The one thing, like what Hero was doing the police stuff,
Right.
I felt like that could have changed a lot of stuff. I don't know what stopped it, Hero, but I like that.
Man, I'll tell you like this. It was so I was in Dallas. I was in West Texas and right by El Paso, and it was MVC a semi truck versus pedestrian. Boom, I'm on call. They call me. I show up to the scene. I'm searching his body. I'm doing his pronouncement, and then I pull out his wallet, and there's a baggie of cocaine, and I'm like, oh, and they're like, oh snaps, we got to get him to Dallas. And I was like, why we got to go to Dallas? He was like, oh, he's an organ donor, but in his will it said his brother should get his kidney. Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. So this case is over. And then the detective on the scene was like, no, we need somebody to travel with the body. You're the rook. You go on with the body. So I traveled with the body, got on a private jet, flew down there, got into the surgery, and it was a heart surgeon. His name was Dr. Neil's son. And he was sitting there, and he was like, he's introducing himself to everybody in the room. He's like, so what do you do? And I was like, oh, I'm the forensic tech on the case. I'm just here to take pictures of the organ and take a sample. And it was like, is that all you do? And I was like, yes, sir. And he was like, all right, now you're gonna do more. And he told the nurse, get him some scrubs. So I pull up to the bed. I'm watching this transplant go by. The organs leaving, this and that. And at the end, he took the heart, you know, he's shaking hands with everybody, wishing them good luck. And it was like, hey, kid. And I was like, yeah. He was like, I think what you're doing is great, but you can either tell people stories or you can give them a second chance to tell their own. And he bounced. And like when I heard that in my mind, I was like, no, I got to put in my 2-week notice. I got to figure out how to save lives. Like, I loved what I was doing. I thought like the creation of my database with tracking of all of these police problems and everything was great, but there was not enough of me, and I wasn't good enough. Now I have this programming ability. I have this ability to code and query databases that gives me the power. I can build the things that I dreamed about in the past. So I think like sometimes you're right. Like life will introduce itself to you, and if you're not the person you need to be, you got to be smart enough to not destroy it, but step away from it so that you can come back stronger. And that's what I came back and did. The forensic aspect of me taught me everything I know about my view on civil liberties right now, because I saw how those things were usurped. I saw how people manipulated evidence, and how detectives did things, and how cops did things, and how they didn't respect the chain of command. And that really messed up my mind, because I came into the system with the word ingrained in my mind: you only have integrity once. But I saw that no one had it once they got in the field.
A lot of people don't have those experiences in life. You learn that chain of command shit in the military. You learn it in the streets when there's a structure. You learn it when you have
in a household.
Yeah,
in a household when you
it
got.
Depends though. If you only got a mama, you might it's different. It's different for that. Cause like Rob is became like you and Rob. When your dad was gone, when Jeremiah say when dad was gone, I'm the man of the house. So it's not really just like the chain of command goes straight to moms. Chain of command, like when they come cops, they feel like they fucking what's the name of training they off back. They don't got no type of education, no type of experience. But they know everything. That's why they don't get. So did y'all see the other day where that cop tased that dude that was changing his tire?
Yeah.
And then he goes to jail, and they say that he had coke and fentanyl on him. He was a felon with a gun. And
now they dropping all the charges.
Well, because first off, he wasn't a felon.
He wasn't a felon.
He didn't have no coke.
Nope.
And they didn't know that the little brother was recorded. So he recorded her going in his pocket, like he tased him, like, yeah, that's what you want, bitch. I could do some more. The man in cuffs.
In handcuffs. It's amazing. It's amazing to me when we look at like the collective society we live in. You realize at an early age we're lied to keep us docile. Because if we were truly allowed to be what the world is an example of, we would be eating the rich, or we would be decimating anybody who wrongs the society. But as children, as young youths, we're taught to be docile. But I think the Black experience, and something that Black said in the beginning, the author of this book didn't experience struggle. And I think because we have this perspective of struggle, it makes us very cautious, or a mind aware of things that come into our lives. As Black men, as men in general, we don't we know that good things don't come to us unless we have some input or force on it. And if something good is coming to us too easily, we looking over our shoulder. I feel like it makes us uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable, at least.
Like a running car in the middle of a block with the doors unlocked.
Yeah.
And you gotta get somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, should I take that?
When they was arresting all them people from stealing from that van, they got it unlocked with all the TVs or
Nike shoes and shit like that.
Nike too. They did
Nike.
Sure. What is y'all? Yeah. So this just not too easy for y'all. Like y'all on candid camera right now.
Yeah.
It's not that they criminals, but you provide
opportunity.
Right. People, yeah.
It's an opportunity for a struggling group of people.
I'm watching this truck. Yeah, I'm looking at this truck for an hour with nobody coming to it. I got the minute to take a pair of shoes. Shit.
Yeah. Oh, you got some size 12s in there? Let me see.
I remember they put one of those cars on 51st. And the kids went in there and took everything about that motherfucker and got away.
In Cottage?
Yeah. They put it right in between, they put it right over there by the school. So, but it was like they were trying to get somebody, bait somebody, but niggas watch TV.
Yeah.
So them little kids went up there and they raped the car, took everything about that bitch, and then took off. Ain't nobody closed the doors for you to be able to lock it.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh, I guess the fuck they get.
Let's talk a little bit about Shiva, the partner aspect of this. This was fascinating to me. Are we good to move to that? And probably the last one.
And that's the last thing.
Yeah, it's the last one. We'll wrap it up because I think we've been going for an hour 30. Dang. Now, we have two people that are married, we have people in relationships, situationships, whatever it is. But I think it was important for me to hear this message.
It's actually a couple things that we need to talk about. But go ahead.
Like that your partner. There's so many people that talk about how your partner is supposed to bring you peace, but in this chapter specifically, they talk about how they're actually there to design to challenge your peace, to test your resolve about how much you want your peace. Like if you're doing what you're supposed to do, I'm gonna test that, and if you pass the test, you'll get your peace. Is it from at least from the two married men in the room? What was your feeling on this? Because this really did catch me off guard. I did not expect to hear this was the expectation. Did you find this to be true in your relationships?
Shit, Rob explained it already when she just as a friend telling him
As a friend,
be on your shit.
Yeah.
JB, go ahead. JB, ready?
Nah, I mean, I told my wife this probably a couple months ago, because I don't know, I just be sitting back reflecting a lot. But one of the reasons that I chose her was because she gonna always require a certain standard of me, right? So like, I think it go back to like, what's your definition of peace? Like, I took it as like the definition of peace on that was when you're not doing what you supposed to, like you not still going, like you find you getting complacent sort of deal.
Yeah.
So that's what I took what he was trying to say with
and
that.
that's basically what the book was saying too, though. Like, he like, I made $1 million today, but did you fucking get the milk?
Did you get the milk I actually get? That shit blew my mind. Because my response would have been, bitch, we could buy a fucking farm now. What are you talking about?
That was his response. Like, I can buy a dairy farm, but where do you have the dairy farm now? Because I'm about to cook and I need that milk to make whatever.
Yeah.
And I told you 4 times before you left, and I reminded you while you was at work. And then it was saying, like, as a man, you can't be doing what you're doing to please others. You do what you do for yourself, and
to
then
get that peace.
Be as happy as you are with your own progress, and not worrying about how other people are happy for you. And I fuck with that. Because a lot of people get lost in that, because like we talked about this a long time ago when it came to pride, when a lot of people go on to do stuff in spite of people. Like, I made it through school. You said I wouldn't, but you went to school, but you ain't learned shit that's gonna develop your life or nothing that you actually love to do. So now you got a wasted degree. Like Kanye said, I got all these degrees, but you ain't gonna live off that shit, and you ain't gonna be happy off of it. So you got to be able to do it on your own and be happy off of that. And it's another chapter where it's saying, don't use your family as an excuse.
This one is tough because isn't everything we're doing for our family?
Yeah.
Not everything.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Because you raise your kid, right? And then you expect them to be able to go out and be on their own.
Yeah.
It's not like you have a kid to take care of them for their entire life. So you still have to worry about yourself. And even in the Bible, it tells you that. If you're a religious person, when you're married, the man comes first, and then everything else. Because the man and the mama come before the kids, off the bat. Because you can make a new kid, you can't make a new man, you can't make a new woman. So because after a while they leave the house, and now it's only y'all two.
Some people look at that as cold, but I mean it's the natural selection.
But it's only how you treat it though.
Yeah. It's
not like you saying, yeah, me and them fuck them kids, like literally, like fucking I'm gonna feed the kids, but I'm gonna eat too. Yeah, it ain't saying you're not gonna feed them because you're eating. And that's how people look at everything when it comes like, my kid comes first. Like your kid just there's no levels of what you do first when it comes to family. But if the daddy not eating, he can't work to feed the kids. So you might want to worry about that too. You know, you want to take care of your kid, but you also want to make sure that the people that's buying the food can eat enough to be able to work to purchase it.
Yeah.
Because now, when he's not working and purchasing the food, now everybody's starving and dying.
The head really does lead the tail.
So Jeremiah, when it comes to fucking not letting don't use your family as an excuse. You can use it as motivation.
What is an excuse? Well, that's something that you would. How would you phrase this? Like, what's an excuse? Because if I'm being real, what you basically said is all them games my dad missed was him not using the family as an excuse. I would have loved to have had him make an excuse once.
Yeah, but then y'all been out of mortgage a couple times. Then now you fucking. Now he can come to all again because y'all live in a tent.
Now you actually got to stop going to school because you need to work too.
Jeremiah ain't used his family as an excuse when he moved to Georgia and opened up that State Farm. It was probably more so motivation, but it wasn't gonna be like, I'm not doing this because this can put our family at a halt.
This is exactly what I said. I said when I moved down here, I ain't got no choice but to be successful because my family is used to a certain standard of life. So that ain't finna change. So I gotta figure it out.
A motivation. That's interesting. What else?
One more, stop hoping your woman gets easier. Because when he was talking about
I know, right?
Yeah, when he was talking, yeah. But that's true though, like, right? So you learn the person's foundation, you learn who they are fundamentally. Your fundamentals don't necessarily change. They might elevate, and you might, certain stuff about your character will change, but who you fundamentally are won't change. And if you're expecting that to change, in order to fucking be happy with that person, you gotta leave them. He was saying, like, if a person you're not gonna be willing to accept that, you gotta leave them.
Yeah, I just probably that's probably a challenge that a lot of people that go over a lot of people's head. That the person that you decide to be with, you have to come to terms. To your point, Black and JB hit on this too. Yo, they're gonna grow over time.
Yeah,
they're gonna grow.
Or one of them is not gonna grow, or one of them's not gonna grow as fast. But you got to be willing to accept their growth or lack of growth.
How responsible are you for bringing them or meeting them at their level?
You're not. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You can't, that's the thing. Like, you can't, growth is growth. You got to be able to accept your partner's growth or lack of growth and work with it and continuously grow on your own. Because it's both stagnant. Y'all will be, like, a lot of people are stagnant and they're okay with it, but it's detrimental to them. Like a girl going to school to do great shit, but she's dating a drug dealer. Now he go to jail. Now she's still with him. Now, even though she makes $100K a year, she take care of a nigga that can't do that because he ain't developed no life skills or nothing other than drug dealing. Now you can transfer it over and be sales. You can work State Farm with it. You gotta hope Jeremiah hire you.
You gotta hope he hire you with that felony.
You like what's your skills? Your resume say I sold dope for 10 years. And I was great at it. He's like, damn, did you have a cartel or something? Like, how great were you? Like, no, I don't know that. Like, yeah, I was only selling the 8 ball a month. You're like, hold on, wait, you never developed and sold more? You never got a house? You never got a quarter? You was just selling that same 8 ball? Like, nah, bro, you ain't about to get hired. What I'm gonna hire you for?
You ain't got no ambition, son.
Now you with a motherfucker, you doing hell, you a nurse, and this is just
there playing the game.
Slowing your life or pulling you back, holding you down.
So then
I think that's also what leads to a lot of those later in life divorces too, because some people do stay together for their kids, right? Then you look back like, damn, we ain't did shit. I don't even like you no more. Like,
but you're gonna grow out of love. You're gonna grow out of love when you're with somebody forever.
No, I said like. I didn't say love.
No, even that. Like, you cannot like. So
I don't like you no more.
Hey, I want you to look at Patrice O'Neal when he talk about loving and liking your woman. Because it's funny as fuck, but it's kind of true though. Like, you got to be. We'll talk about that like outside of this, but fucking yeah, it's different when it comes to liking. Yeah. You can not like a person every day, or then you can like them the next day. Like, you can not liking a person is gonna be different.
No, I was meaning on like a deeper. They like really hate each other.
Yeah, hate each other because they're not accepting who their person are. They
right.
A lot of women get into the expectations of who they expect you to become. You're like, oh
Yeah.
man, this like I know he got a lot of potential. That potential for women it drives them, because they see it like, oh, he got potential. But once you live off that for so long and they haven't met that potential, and now you're like, damn, I just wasted 15 years. Now I'm about to leave him and expect to get something else, and it's too late. And you ain't about to come back off that shit.
You said lost the pimping.
Huh?
What?
I'll say potential. Like, women look at a man and
I
see the
thought you
potential.
said lost the pimping.
No, they see potential in the person too much, and they live off that until that person don't meet it, and then now it's like we 45. I got 6 kids, but I don't want to do this no more. But that's all
No
you can really
wedding
do. That's
ring.
where you gonna go?
6 kids, no wedding ring, ain't shit to show for it.
And JB actually brought up something interesting too, where he talked about those later in life divorces.
Yeah.
My personal opinion on that one is a lot of that has to do with the couple putting the kids before their marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You still got to date.
Wow.
You got to go on dates with kids.
Wow.
And
Interesting.
you also gotta feed yourself. Well, when they be doing that, they don't even be having the same thing we were talking about. People don't have nothing for themselves either, so they expecting the person that they with to do everything for them as far as all entertainment. Like y'all, and especially both of y'all working, y'all expecting the other person to come home and tap dance. It just ain't about to happen. I ain't coming home and twerking for nobody.
I was going to
Look, I ain't a comedian. Look, I got loans. I ain't coming home. I ain't about to be a comedian. I ain't about to rap.
I think I heard somebody say that shit the other day. Why is he always so angry? Girl, you ain't made him laugh in 2 weeks. He be coming home. He ain't laughed once while he was with you. Like, that shit had me dying.
Yeah, they
Like,
expect too much of their person.
you expected too
They want their person to
much.
provide everything for them.
Yeah.
Your entertainment, your happiness, your health. Like, they can't do. Like, what are you gonna do for yourself? And what is that?
That is a fascinating concept. That's a fascinating concept that you brought up. Like the onus that we put on our partners, that they have to do this.
Provide everything.
Provide everything.
Not just y'all too. While you got friends, to provide certain type of conversation with. Like, we can talk to each other. Men can talk to each other about certain stuff that you damn near shouldn't talk to your woman about, because they will look at you a certain way. Like, it's okay. Go talk to your female friend about your womanly shit. That's not my field. I'm not gonna come to you about building something that I know that's not your field. You're accountant, right? Well, so it's different for us because we expect to do everything. They want us to be mechanics. They want us to be carpenters. They want us to be everything. I always tell a person, like, look, I got a good job. I ain't doing shit unrelated to that. I'm paying somebody else to do it.
Yeah, this is something that I also became very good at. Because I used to be on some, I'm going to cut my grass. I'm going to be macho man this, macho man that. And then one day my blade got stuck and I went down there, flipped it over, put it on without putting it on the bypass. And I got it loose and that shit, boom, I was like, Hero, you use your hands to save. Hero, call somebody to do this for you. What do you have to prove?
I got all equipment in my garage. Look here, come up on the door. Go ahead.
I'm not even gonna buy the equipment. Y'all tripping.
Y'all
I had the landscaping business, so I was doing it. So now it's like,
I ain't even got a
go
lawnmower.
ahead and do that, little player.
I ain't even got a lawnmower. I know damn well.
If you need the tools, go in the garage.
My lawn looks amazing with no lawnmower. People ask me that all the time.
I knew damn well when I pulled up to this house. Who cut y'all grass? Y'all, let me get his number, dude.
Exactly. I'm not doing nothing outside of what, like,
nothing.
Everything extra just because you're a man is crazy. Like,
yeah, they pay people for that shit. Like, next year we getting
the house, woman. You cannot even cook.
Next year we getting a maid next year.
I gotta build a house. Oh no, that's the thing.
Thursdays.
I keep saying that, but I'm going to do it 2 times a week. It's only like $40.
Yeah,
we get one on
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much. Like, I was thinking about this the other day because I have a laundry service for myself. So I was sitting there thinking, like, man, I used to really spend like 6 hours every weekend doing laundry. And this lady just comes over, folds it up, and she'll be like, "Where do you want me to put it?" I'm like, "Oh, you fold it too?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I put it up there everywhere."
They fold and they putting it up. They do everything. All right,
I gave her, and you know me thinking, it's $40 a week. I gave her the $40 up front. She was like, "Oh, the tip? Oh, it's not necessary. It's fine." I'm like, Oh shit! I thought I was just gonna pay you for the whole week. Like, but no, you could have that. You could have
They'll
no.
come here for 6 hours. They got all the deals that's popping up on your phone. They'll be at your crib for 6 hours cleaning your house, and you paying them
Carpet and everything.
$50. You're like
Yeah.
$50. Okay.
Yeah, I think a big part. I want to close off on this. What I want to ask you, what's something that your partner has challenged you on that made you stand your resolve? Like, in order for you to maintain your peace, her challenged your peace. So now, and you had to rebuttal it. Like, what is something that your partner or a previous partner challenged you on that made you say, to maintain my peace, I'm going to stand against this, but it was for the better? And I think I could take this one on head on. One thing for me, and I mentioned it earlier, there's a big part of me that I hate having to explain myself, especially when you accept the explanation of something you see to be true. I tell people I have to go in for surgery. I've literally been on dates where I got called in. They said we got an emergency. I gave the person my card and said, get an Uber, go home, good luck to you. And there's no questions asked.
Oh, you a boss.
Baller.
What he said? Hold on. What he said? He left. He leave his card.
I'm not gonna order it for you. Here go my card. Do your thing. Do your
Come back in a burger bag on your
I'll
shit.
cancel it in the
That's a
morning.
burger bag.
all the fraud.
Oh, hey, but wait though, it's two more things in the first part that we ain't speak on that's really big. Is be willing to change everything in your life, and what was the other one? We could just end it with that one. Be willing to change everything in your life.
Okay, and that one I have a good close off. But I think but with you going back to the example, no questions asked. Next morning I see that person, they're like, everything go well, everything went fine. But then, when you get the day off to yourself, you spent 7 hours in front of the computer? What was you doing? Oh, I mean, working on my business, finishing up the comic book, starting this, doing this. Oh, I feel like you could have done something better. I was in surgery for 12 hours. No one said a damn word.
Yeah. And that's working for somebody else.
And working for somebody else.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, though. I don't want to be questioned about the things I do unless you're trying to learn about it.
Man. And maybe that's the policy I have to take.
If you're interrogating me, I don't want to. I'm not dealing with interrogation.
I got to take that approach.
Yeah.
I guess I can't relate to this conversation because
Explain.
That's one thing with my wife. Like, if I'm doing something, like, and she know I don't know if it's a look that I give her or whatever, when I'm like talking about something that she know she know I'm doing it. Like, so it's either get with me or like, I don't care what you got to say. But she back just about everything that I decide to do. So,
but that's the thing though. Like, that interrogation is basically like saying what you're doing is not valuable.
Yeah.
Even though it's for you, like, that's why people gotta find something for themselves. Because if you're depending on me to maintain all your time, or all my outside time is supposed to be spent with you, it's insane. It's not going to work out like that. And nobody's going to get all of that from anybody, because eventually you have nothing else to give, and then you mad about that. Like, now you don't have nothing else to give me. Like, shit, let me go learn some other stuff. I can't even go learn nothing else because you right there, and you're not even trying to learn it with me. You're just trying to
see what I'm doing. See what I'm doing.
Be like, yeah, what's that you watching? Like,
yeah,
say, I'm watching this right here. And what they talking about? I mean, look, it just started, so
you can join.
But you can start that's very like that.
Yeah, it's so weird. I swear to God, I changed the show we was watching yesterday. He was asking too many questions.
Look, sit them to the side and explain that certain stuff to them. Like, okay, that's the beginning of all marriages, because y'all still trying to get stuff a hold of everything. But you see, old people ain't doing that.
Yeah.
The old people that's been together for a long time. If you listen to some of these old, because I watch a lot of interviews, I love listening to the older folks that's happy married, and they tell you, like, it ain't all about themselves. It's not about me and us being happy, all the time. Some stuff is just gonna be pushed through regardless of the happiness. You're not gonna always be happy enough, and you're not gonna always be happy alone. So that's what people think, like, well, I'll be better off alone. Like, no, you're not gonna always be happy alone. So I'd rather not be happy a little bit with somebody than be fucking barely happy alone.
That's
That's that
that's a
fantasy stuff he was
Yeah,
talking about.
fantasy stuff.
But
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
Disney.
we that being willing to change part of it too.
Go with it.
That change, I call it change agility, but um, it's one of the I think one of the more fascinating things is like people could be in a relationship, they look like they got the dopest relationship or whatever.
Yeah.
They have a kid, and all of a sudden they both single, right?
Mm.
I think that's like one of the biggest things where people don't really recognize how much a kid gonna shake up stuff, right? And we both gotta be like, all right, put everything in the middle of the table and really pretty much be like, all right, what's the new reality about to look like? Because it's
Fact.
not gonna look how it used to look.
Facts.
Like it's gonna be different.
But
And
they also go into it not even fucking
yeah,
fully understanding that they haven't
The,
like
a
that's
kid,
about to happen.
a
Some
human.
would be like, I don't want to have a kid, and then somebody get pregnant.
okay.
It's just all type of stuff that don't go into it. It's a kid, and it's not that complicated. But people overcomplicate a kid.
Mm.
I think it's a certain level of complexity to it
Yeah.
because
Mm.
you and your partner, to JB's point, y'all got to be on the same page for real, like no
Yeah.
other.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, okay, like y'all, let's say y'all both work, right? Okay, who gonna have more energy on Monday to cook dinner,
Yeah.
or who gonna
Mm.
order dinner? Something that simple.
Yeah.
Who gonna
But
clean?
that's
Who
what I'm
gonna
saying.
pay for?
But that's overcomplicating certain stuff like food, like that type of stuff shouldn't be that big. Like on like it stress certain people out because they looking at it too
But
dry, like too
but
wide,
the
right?
thing,
Remember that's the thing with taking that next step versus your last step. I took the whole first year of my daughter's life off. So when it comes to fucking being that field child, I was there. So it was like me witnessing that and doing everything. I was like, this is not. It wasn't that complicated to me. It wasn't that like for me to be like stressed out about it. I could change the diaper real fast. I'm using a wipe at the one wipe at the like most times, and then two at the most. I was cold.
No,
ooh,
you cheap with the wipes, man.
Yeah,
Stop! I'm
yeah,
folding the shit
right.
out that wipe. Ain't no
I'm
point
u-
in you
I'm
not
using about
every.
18 of
I'm
them
using,
joints.
yeah, see, that's just it's crazy. I'm using every side of that wipe. If it's something clear, it's gonna be
ain't
cheap
nothing
by the
gonna be
time
white, huh?
and and that baby gonna be good. My baby was good. She was always
But I
smiling.
think like you black for specifically because you had to do the walk alone. You didn't have to account for anyone else. You just had to account for your child and yourself. But I
No, I'm
think
taking so her mom. We were still together, so
okay,
it was yeah. So a whole house. So I'm paying all the bill, but I took off a year. So I was taking care of everything. She didn't work. She didn't have to work. I didn't worry about that. And fucking, I took care of my daughter.
okay.
And well, we took care of my daughter, but it wasn't like a stressful thing what people make it seem like. So when the people would be like, "Oh man,
So then,
it
what
needs
was something that was stressful for
But
you?
some people just not that selfless though.
yeah,"
Yeah.
Like you said, you took
but
you
that's the
took off
thing.
you took off doing what you was doing,
Yeah,
right? That's for a lot of people. Like even if you talk to like I talk to my wife, right? I understanding my wife and what she go through from a pregnancy standpoint. Like every time she get
and that's the
pregnant,
most
she feel
difficult
like her
part.
life paused, right?
Yeah,
Like it just paused
Mm.
again, right? And then being able to redraw those lines, like, no, your life no pause. You're not single.
yeah,
we doing this together. We gotta reorganize. Like even going from 2 to 3. Like all right, when he get here, we don't know what life gonna look like.
yeah.
But when I see what it look like, then I'm gonna restructure like all of the stuff that I do as far as like hobbies and extra stuff up on the outside, and then this is
But this,
what.
but this how easy kids be though, right? Your kids are they going to daycare?
Yeah, yeah. I
So
got 2 kids in daycare.
the older the 6-year-old in daycare?
Oh my goodness, you over here paying
Yeah,
college
yeah.
tuition for
Uh, yeah.
college
Hey,
tuition?
yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah. And that be the biggest thing for me when it
Yeah, I'm
comes to
coming.
people saying how hard it is to raise their kid. When they kids in school most of the day, you
Mm.
be like, hold up, wait. So it's 24 hours in a day. The kid is gonna be asleep. If your kid's raised right, the kid's gonna be asleep by 8:30, 9 o'clock. They're
Mm.
gonna go to school 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. So then they get out at 3:30. So they got 5 hours of fucking you being a parent. And they always overcomplicate it. Like my daughter, she got homework, she take care of her own homework. I make sure she eat, make sure she bathe, boom. That's it's so complicated. When she if she's sick, I take care. I get medicine. I get health care. I'll take her to the doctor. But that's not on a consistent basis where they always going to the hospital. So you're not always changing time for the kids. So it's not overly complicated to do it unless you're homeschooling the kid. And that's when I look at it a little different. Like, okay, you homeschool the kid, you stay home all day. So you might need a break when it's time to be, when school is over with, and that's where you step in. But if your kid's going to school, you're basically not even a parent for that time frame, because that's who's raising your fucking kids, them teachers.
Nah, it's definitely a great concept, and I think we should wrap it up. We got 2 hours on the books.
Yeah,
Um,
This is the first time back, so
Yeah, we had a lot to get. Normally this would be an hour. We cut it to an hour, but we clearly had a lot to get off our chest. I definitely just want to say thank you to you all for being here with us. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys might not be able to see the chat, but a lot of people found you guys to be very insightful and very funny. So, Black, JB, Rob, thank you so much for joining us. We'll pick up with part 2, which is going to be chapters.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
16 to
16.
22. It's short. It's only 6 chapters this time.
Okay. So we'll pick up from there. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much. You guys can sign off. I'm gonna head out to the solo one real quick. Get us out of
Love,
here.
bro.
And the reason we couldn't get into the chat is because this one is locked, bro. So it's not even visible to us until.
Yeah. Well, no, I would just want y'all to get to the voice one, but
Yeah.
But yeah, don't want people just interrupting us. But I'll see y'all, man.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
Take care. All right, everybody. That's a chat. Love it.
Get down.
It's always nice. We'll be back on Sunday. Sunday from 11. I think it might be Saturday or Sunday, Central Standard Time. And we'll do this again. It was something we did last year. At the beginning of this year, life happened, so we had a lot of people upgrade themselves in life, so they needed time to get better and take things into consideration. But we got friends that hold us accountable. If you want to know the name of the book is, I'm not saying the whole name. It's The Superior Man, The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida is what I think we call it. I'll give you guys the title right here. And we'll start off from chapter 16 to 22 next week. If you have any questions, concerns, hit me up in the Discord. I'll be in there. I don't know if I have the capacity to rate anybody. We got 13 people who can be rated. Is there anyone streaming right now? You got 13 people. You can rate somebody, right? When was the start time? 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. I see M West is on. He's playing a game right now. So I appreciate you guys so much. I'm gonna go eat breakfast and enjoy some football. And do some chores. I'm gonna send you guys over to M West. He's a great content creator. He's playing Avatar in the holiday settings. It's that new game that just came out. If you could kindly send him over these messages, tell him I said I love him, but I'm not gonna be there to let him know.